A dull, wet cough shatters the silence of the night. Fresh, dark drops of blood stain the crumpled linen sheets. A young man is suffocating. His skin is unnaturally pale, his eyes sunken. And life is literally draining from his emaciated body, drop by drop. Nearby, in the dim, flickering light of a kerosene lamp, stand his neighbors. There is no sympathy in their eyes, only a primal, chilling terror. They don't call for a doctor because they know medicine is powerless here. Instead, they grip the handles of their shovels and sledgehammers tighter. They are absolutely certain. To save the living tonight, they will have to dig up the dead and cut out their hearts. The late 19th century, 1892. Exeter, Rhode Island. While major cities are building railways and installing electricity, time seems to have stopped here, on the isolated farms of New England. A harsh winter has cut these lands off from the rest of the world, and it is in this freezing isolation that an invisible killer begins to decimate the farms. Entire families slowly fade away in their beds. People cough up blood, their bodies wither, turning into living skeletons. Educated doctors from the cities call this plague consumption, tuberculosis. But the locals, left alone with death in the snow-covered forests, whisper an entirely different word. Vampire. This is not a story about mystical counts in black cloaks or bats from scary fairy tales. This is a story about chilling medical ignorance, about how desperation pushes ordinary, God-fearing people to commit monstrous acts. Their fear dictated its own, extremely dark rules, rooted in ancient folklore. New England farmers believed in dark, sympathetic magic. A mystical, invisible umbilical cord between dead and living relatives. In their minds, a vampire did not roam the night in search of a random victim. No, he remained in his grave. He became an energy parasite, draining the life force from his family from a distance. A sick person coughed up blood not from a bite to the neck. He coughed up blood because his flesh was literally deteriorating from the inside. While his life energy flowed through an invisible channel to the corpse underground. A person wasted away before their eyes because a dead relative was feeding on them to sustain their existence in the grave. It was this chilling myth that handed down the final death sentence to the family of local farmer George Brown. George was an ordinary man, a hard worker, whose life turned into an endless nightmare. First, the invisible disease took his wife, Mary. A few years later, the same illness sent his eldest daughter, Mary Olivia, to the grave. The Brown house plunged into mourning, but death was not satisfied. Soon, the farmer watches in horror as his only son, Edwin, begins to fade. The strong young man loses his strength, grows pale, and begins to spit up blood. And then, suddenly and swiftly, in January 1892, his second, 19-year-old daughter, Mercy Brown, dies. Neighbors, watching the Brown family die out, come to the only logical conclusion for them. One of the already buried women of the family has not found peace. One of them is dragging Edwin down into the darkness with her. Panic grips Exeter. The village decides that the only way to save the young man is to sever the deadly bond. To find the one feeding on his life and destroy her. On a cold March morning, when the ground is frozen solid and covered with a hard crust of ice, a crowd of locals, led by the town physician, Dr. Harold Metcalf, sets out for the local Chestnut Hill Cemetery. The dull, rhythmic thud of shovels hitting frozen dirt shatters the morning's silence. The air burns their lungs. The men struggle to pry open the frozen graves of the Brown family. First, they open the coffin of the mother, Mary, then the eldest sisters. Their bodies have long since been touched by natural decay. Only bones remain. They cannot be the cause of the curse. But then, the shovels reach the grave of 19-year-old Mercy. The nails groan and give way. The wooden lid is torn off, and the crowd freezes in horror. Mercy Brown, who had lain in the ground for 2 months, looks as if she simply fell asleep. No signs of decomposition. Her skin has kept its natural color. Her hair and nails appear to have grown. But the most terrifying thing is that her body has unnaturally turned on its side, changing its position in the cramped coffin. Dr. Metcalf, maintaining the last shreds of his composure, performs an autopsy right in the cemetery. He makes a rough incision on the girl's chest. And when the scalpel opens her heart, fresh, liquid, red blood is found inside. For the crazed crowd of farmers,
God help us all. The devil's work is coming.
This becomes absolute, undeniable proof. Liquid blood in a dead body. The absence of rot. It is her. Mercy Brown is a vampire. She is the one sucking the life out of her dying brother, Edwin. Dr. Metcalf desperately tries to appeal to reason. He shouts to the crowd that these are natural processes, that the cold preserved the tissues, but no one listens to him. The voice of science is powerless against centuries-old primal fear. Right there, in the piercing wind, among the crooked tombstones, a macabre, primitive ritual unfolds. The people of Exeter cut out Mercy Brown's heart and liver. They build a fire right on a nearby stone and burn the girl's organs to ashes. Then they gather the still warm ash, mix it with water, and force the dying Edwin to drink this black, sickening brew as the only saving medicine. This savage ritual did not save the young man. Edwin Brown passed away just 2 months after his sister's exhumation. Ancient magic did not work against a real killer. But what did the residents of Exeter actually find in Mercy Brown's coffin? Modern forensics and forensic medicine completely destroy this dark myth. Exposing a much more tragic reality. The invisible monster wiping out entire settlements was a bacterium. Koch's bacillus, the pathogen of tuberculosis. In the late 19th century, the mechanism of airborne infection in cramped, poorly ventilated farmhouses was unknown. People infected each other, slowly fading away, which exactly mimicked the folkloric symptoms of vampirism. And what about the fresh blood and the terrifying preservation of Mercy's body? The answer lies not in a curse, but in the harsh climate of New England. Mercy died in the dead of winter, in January. Her coffin was placed in icy ground, which acted as a perfect natural cryo chamber. The frost completely stopped the processes of decay and bacterial decomposition. The accumulation of liquid blood in the internal organs is a completely natural biological process of hemolysis that occurs at low temperatures. And the frightening change of posture in the coffin is only the result of post-mortem muscle spasms and the shifting of frozen soil which crushed the wooden box. The illusion of grown nails and hair is simply a consequence of the skin drying out and retracting on the fingertips and head. The residents of Exeter did not kill a monster. They desecrated the body of an innocent, severely ill girl, becoming victims of their own despair. The case of Mercy Brown, the last American vampire, is permanently sealed in historical archives. And it serves as a dark, eternal reminder. The most terrifying monster does not hide in the darkness of a night cemetery. It does not hide in old crypts and is not afraid of sunlight. The most terrifying monster is the human mind. Poisoned by paranoia. Isolated from the truth. And cornered by chilling fear of the unknown.